Today's Faceoff on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams. Ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Faceoff on Fox Soul starts right now.
Stand and face the jury. Mrs. Robertson.
Superior Court of California, County of Los Angeles, in the matter of the people of the state of California versus Orenthal James Simpson, case number BA097211. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson, a human being, as charged in count 1 of the information.
In this round, here's Quan LX.
Charles, we have all learned of the passing of one of the greatest football players to ever play running back in the NFL history, O.J. Simpson. His nickname was the Juice. And so O.J. is gone now from among the living. Many are still angry and upset and see him as a monster because he was found not guilty by a jury of his peers. When I was watching the video of Brother O.J. and that not guilty verdict, it brought back the very things I felt watching that verdict. Because millions of black people celebrated when he was found not guilty, because in our eyes, for the first time in our existence in this country, a black man got away with killing 2 white folks. After we had watched thousands of white men in this country through the criminal justice system either never be tried or once they were tried to be found not guilty by all white juries when Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder could see they were guilty. And so we applauded that. And I still stand by that verdict because we've always been taught by the criminal justice system, and the former judge, you know this too, respect the verdict of the jury. O.J. is gone. It's a sad day for many, but did he get away with murder? I stand. The jury came back not guilty.
Okay, but do you think he committed the murder? Because before the cameras went on, you said you thought he didn't commit it, that he was innocent. Now the cameras go on and you're waffling like a coward. No, do you think he did it or you think he didn't do it?
I believe O.J. Simpson paid somebody to do it.
Okay.
I don't think he did it himself,
okay.
No.
Well, that would make him still guilty. So Mark Lamont Hill had a very interesting take on Instagram where he said that people shouldn't be lamenting the passing of this monster because while he most certainly did it. Let's read it. It said O.J. Simpson was an abusive liar who abandoned his community long before he killed 2 people in cold blood. His acquittal for murder was the correct and necessary result of a racist criminal legal system, but he's still a monster, not a martyr. I'll agree with some of that, right? I think a lot of people falsely conflate being found not guilty with being found innocent. There's absolutely no doubt that not only was O.J. responsible, but that he actually did it. Very ample evidence if you study the case.
He's not responsible.
Well, it's because of racism. And I know we have the concept of racism and the mistake that the academic argument that a black person cannot be racist against white people, but that's simply not true. That position, that empowerment theory, only applies to systemic racism, not individual acts. So it's a lot of people have used it, over and over and over and over again, to say, oh, well, I can call you Whitey Cracker Klanman. Oh, that's not racist because I'm black. And it's nonsense.
Can we stick to the juice?
Okay, you don't stick to the
juice
topic.
was not guilty.
Hey, I'm not talking about something 200 damn
guilty.
years ago. No. So Mark Lamont Hill's take was, oh, no, he was found not guilty. He's awful, but it was because of racism. Now, I do think the horrible things that Furman said weighed in on it, but the truth is that
he planted evidence.
When you're done interrupting me, you're exactly right. The truth is that if you followed the case and Barry Scheck's analysis that absolutely established that the preservative in the blood that was recovered, the blood trail, was most likely planted, I don't know, by Furman or Van Adder or some other law enforcement suspect. And that's, in my opinion, what people can hang their hat on. And that's why the verdict was correct, but he was still guilty. But the truth is, it was simple racism.
How can he be
guilty? The truth is,
if
at that time in America, just like now in America, when you had white victims, you had a jury that looked at it. It was prosecuted by a black man, Charles Darden. They had a black man who abandoned.
He was a sellout, window-dressing Negro
black wife.
who was used as a prop.
You were just crying about it.
He was used as a prop.
You were just crying about it.
Christopher
now
Darden
he's
was
a
used
sellout.
as a prop.
Darden is a sellout.
Yes,
Darden,
absolutely.
fighting for justice.
For who?
A public servant. How you're disgusting,
No,
Quadell.
Christopher Darden was an absolute sellout.
Christopher Darden.
And Marsha Clark was a racist. Let's keep this
real.
real.
The truth is, the only sellout was O.J. Simpson, who walked away from his wife and his family to go embrace white America.
I agree with you on that.
You agree?
I agree
That's
with
the
you on that.
sellout. Now, people, I love
After his child drowned in the pool.
I love how
his child drowned in the pool when he left his black wife to marry a stripper by the name Nicole Brown Simpson.
Okay, she wasn't a stripper.
Oh, in the beginning she was.
Okay, this is what you do.
He met her in the strip club. That's where he met her.
This is what you do, Quanell.
That wasn't the prom queen.
You condemn white people, but then when it's convenient, you don't. But here, you're talking about a woman that had her head almost chopped off by her evil-ass husband. The truth is, you condemn America. Because you're stupid.
If it don't fit, you must acquit.
That was brilliant lawyering. Oh, that was some of the best closing argument, the best argument by a great lawyer. Amazing lawyering. And that's why he was found not guilty. Amazing
Johnny
lawyers.
Cochran.
A lot of people didn't get paid. Johnny Cochran got his money. Dershowitz didn't. Here's the thing.
Well, what did Dershowitz really do?
He was there for the appellate issues. You
he
make a
didn't really
contract,
do
you pay him. I know. White Jew, you hate him.
No,
but at the end of the
really
day, you condemn America. But in the 1980s, O.J. Simpson and Bill Cosby were the two highest paid spokespeople in America. They were the two most celebrated Americans, right? They also turned out. They also turned out to all kind of stuff O.J. did. They also turned out to be incredibly awful people. One a rapist and one a murderer. Had nothing to do with their skin color. But the fact that they were never truly held accountable has everything to do with it.
So let me ask you a question.
So go ahead.
If Bill Cosby is truly a rapist, why is he not in prison anymore?
Well, he went to prison because
Well,
he was the most powerful celebrity in America
and why
for
was he
decades.
acquitted in prison?
Okay, Bill, if you don't think Bill Cosby is a racist, it's only, a rapist, it's only because you're a racist, right?
I believe
in fact,
this.
if you listen to Bill Cosby's litany of years of criticism of the black community, he said horrible things about young black men. Okay. Yeah.
We may not like what he got convicted
a bunch of young black
but he told
women,
the truth.
But you don't care because he's black. If it was a white guy did it, you'd be out there
Bill
calling for him to be
Cosby
hung in the public square.
It's no different than Hugh Hefner. He's no different than Bill Clinton.
Well, there's no evidence.
He's no different than the Wall family in Britain.
Hugh Hefner or Bill Clinton drugged people to rape them.
Well,
right?
one woman did claim Bill Clinton drugged her.
No, somebody claimed he raped her, but didn't.
And said he drugged her.
And at the end of the day, the only reason you have these positions on O.J. Simpson and Bill Cosby, because you're not stupid, you're a very intelligent man, it's because you're a racist and they're black.
O.J. is not guilty.
That's right. You're right. He was found not guilty.
Celebrate
but it doesn't make
the
him,
juice in his passing.
Why should we celebrate the passing of a monster that
not
killed?
Guilty.
It was a serial.
The jury said not
domestic
guilty.
violence abuser.
He did that,
and he got away with it
but
because of his celebrity.
Guilty,
the only reason you don't hate him is because he's a black man. And that makes you a racist.
I understand. I like juice.
Just bought his new car 3 days before that, and he was just riding around in his car. He said, "Mom, I'm going for a ride," and they killed him. They killed him.
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
That lament, and I feel sorry for that. Was Dexter Reed's mother, the woman whose son was shot, I think 94, 96 times by police officers, shot at 94, 96 times by Chicago police officers. The Chicago Civilian Office of Police Accountability, the COPPA, is calling for those 5 officers to lose their badges and their guns. There are plenty of people, all the national news media is showing pictures of Dexter Reed graduating from high school, looking like a young saint. People are questioning everything. Well, why did they stop him? If you look at any headline, there is no mention of the fact that this young man shot an officer in the arm and shot his gun 11 times. That's why he was shot at 96 times, because he got pulled over for having his tent too dark and not wearing a seatbelt. Well, the seatbelt was the reason for the tent being, the stop. And then as they approached, his tent was dark. They were demanding that he roll down his window, and instead he shot the cop, shot 11 times, and he got killed. That's what happens. And this is why the Chicago crime situation is unfixable, because the liars in the media and the dishonest lawyers and the idiots that are all saying, you know, they're just a good young man. He just got a new car. He was just out riding around in a city where it's illegal for him to have a gun in the car, and he shot a cop. That's what happens. You get killed. And if you didn't get killed when you shoot a cop, the cops didn't do their damn job.
Well, Charles, let me say this to you. If it is true, and I have yet to see the real body cam footage.
Let's watch it.
Because I really want to see it, to be honest with you. Because it appears that something must have went dead. Look how they approached this car. They got the gun in their hand.
Well, they asked him to roll down the window and he didn't.
So you pull out a gun? You pull out a gun?
Well, it's a good thing they did, because he had a gun and he shot them.
They didn't know that then. They knew that.
That's the whole point.
Charles.
They have to be
Why
safe.
They're
running away.
Charles,
He's running for his life.
Approach a young black man for a seatbelt violation or a tent violation and approach the car with a gun.
You're right.
You
But then when you say roll down your window,
they
and
wanted
refuse,
a gunfight. They wanted a gunfight, man.
Yes, that's
He's
what.
pulled over for a seatbelt, and you approach the window with your gun in your hand. You wanted to kill your nigga.
Let me know when
That's
you're
exactly
finished.
what
Let
it
me
was.
know when you're finished.
96 shots.
Let me know when you're
That was
finished.
overkill, man.
Okay. What happened is they affected a traffic stop in one of the most crime-ravaged communities in America, where people, black people, cannot live their lives. They
Like you
cannot
give a
live
damn how
their
we
lives.
live.
See, you're just being a bigot again.
Like you care how we live.
They can't live their lives, right? They pulled him over for a lawful reason. They approached him, told him to roll down his window. He refused. Why? Because he had a gun in
So
his
you
hand.
pull a gun out?
Well, when they're not
They
following
said
your
they couldn't see in the
directives,
car. They
when
said
you're
they couldn't
not
see in the car.
following
So they
directives.
pull a gun out?
Yes, you
Not
do.
your taser.
They didn't point at it.
Not your taser.
Well, thank God they
But
did.
you pull out your
because
damn
that
gun,
little bastard
and you
started
point
shooting
at the
him.
window.
And here we are.
No,
You know
that
what?
young man was
The
scared.
earth.
That young man was fighting for
Yes.
his life.
Oh, poor baby.
Man, let me tell you
poor
something.
baby.
We sick
you're
and
the problem.
tired
Who's we?
of being
Who's
pulled
we?
over black people.
You criminals?
Being pulled
right,
over.
because it's not black
for
men.
traffic violations.
It's not black men generally.
And you come to the car
Okay.
with guns in your hand?
Well, that's not what happened.
That's happening too
They
much,
pulled
Charles.
him over. He refused to roll down his window.
So they pull out their guns and point at the window.
You know what? They have to be safe.
Come
You
on,
don't-
man,
you don't
stop,
exist.
Charles.
No,
You're a
stop.
former cop.
Okay.
Would you have done that? Would you have done that?
Possibly, depending
No,
on the
you wouldn't do
situation.
foolishness like that. You know better,
No,
Charles.
the truth is that they
Him
had every
shoot
right.
96 times?
Okay, but you know what? How about the first shot? How about the cop
This
running
was
for
a
his
seatbelt
life? How
violation.
about the cop? No, it wasn't. Once he
was
pulled out his
pulled
gun and
over
shot at him
for a seatbelt
Right,
violation.
You're right. And
So
he-
why approach the vehicle? Because now you don't like the tent, and he's not rolling the window down fast enough.
he wasn't rolling
you
it down
pull
at
your
all.
gun out and point it at
They
the
didn't
window.
point it at him.
Yes,
Why?
they did.
Why are
they
you
pointed
lying?
at the window.
No, he actually pointed it down,
Charles,
and he had trigger
these
safety.
white
he
boys
did everything.
wanted a gunfight.
How do you know the race
They
of the
wanted
officers?
a gunfight,
How do you know the
Charles.
race of the
I
officers?
saw
You're
the
just
hand.
assuming. You saw
I saw
one
the
hand.
one run.
There were five of
I
them.
saw the one run.
Right,
That was
and
a
he
white
was
boy
Latino. What you like to do is lie. All right,
Charles.
and you are the problem. You are why America is not
kill young
fixable.
black men
Because when
over a
I know-
seatbelt
you know
traffic
what? Here's
violation
the thing.
stop, man.
Here's the thing.
And then pull out a
Here's
gun when
the
you approach the
truth,
car.
Cornell.
That's too much,
Here's
Charles.
the truth. That if it was a white man that did that, you would be like, hey, he got what he deserved. That white man got killed.
Black cops are not killing white men in traffic stops.
That's absolutely not true. In fact,
Black cops are
in
not
fact-
killing white
in
boys
fact-
in traffic stops.
In fact, officers are more likely to use force against unarmed white men than they are against
That's
unarmed
an
black men.
absolute
I
damn
know,
lie.
I know you're a
You
liar.
must have bought them
I know
statistics from
you're
the
a
Klan.
liar. No,
You must got
that's
the
thing. I know.
skinhead
I know.
emailed you them
No,
statistics,
I know
didn't
numbers
they?
scare you. I know
Yeah.
you don't get
Them
per
some
capita.
white line
I know
numbers
you
there.
don't want any truth
Them
in
some
this room.
absolute white folk
And I
line
know
numbers
you
there.
can just make stuff up. But the truth
96
is,
shots,
this guy,
Charles.
11 shots.
96
11
in that
shots
car.
at the police.
He was afraid
11
for his
shots.
life.
How?
They approached him
How?
with a damn gun and
No,
he
they didn't
pointed to the
approach
window,
with it.
Charles.
They approached and walked
too
up
much,
and
man.
asked him to roll down his window. He
That's too
refused.
much, Charles.
One of them took it out and put the
They
gun
were
down
looking
there.
for a
And
confrontation.
thank God they
were looking for a
You know what?
confrontation.
That's one criminal. That's one attempted murder that we don't have to hold in a prison for 30 or 40 years. Of course, in
but guess
Chicago,
what?
he'd have got a
How
hand
many
slap.
young
He
black
would have got
men
released
who had
without
no
bond
weapons in
and no
traffic stops
pension.
were murdered by white cops?
And you know what? That's
Who
horrible.
had no weapons
And that's
and
horrible.
was murdered by traffic
And that's
stops.
horrible. But the truth
So
is,
should we start
the
killing those
truth
cops?
is- the
Should we
truth
kill those
is-
cops?
The truth is that you want to talk about stuff other than this situation.
No,
and if the
man.
roles or the races were reversed, you'd have a different opinion.
But
I
that's the
wouldn't have a
problem.
different opinion.
It ain't never
I'd
been
have the
reversed.
same. That's
In
absolutely
America,
not true.
this racist
I get it.
police
And you're the
departments in
problem.
America,
You're
white
the
folks
problem.
don't suffer that abuse
That is a
at the
black
hands of
police
racist
department.
cops. We
that
do.
is a department that has been led by African Americans for many years. You just make stuff up.
Just because you have an
make
African
your
American
living
figurehead,
tearing America
the majority
apart.
of your
And the
officers are
truth
not
is,
black.
Chicago has an incredibly diverse police
They do,
department.
but the majority of the officers
but
are not
it
black.
ain't but it ain't enough, right?
Charles,
Here's the truth.
Too many young
this
black
is a
men
little
are being
monster.
murdered and
He
killed by
is-
cops
he's- no one-
in basic, simple traffic stops.
It ain't murder.
And most of
when
them
you
are
shoot.
unarmed,
It
Charles.
ain't murder when you shoot at the cops. And you're the
Charles,
problem. The
is it-
media's
so
the
Charles,
problem. If we had real conversation.
maybe that was self-defense.
This is, here's the problem.
Maybe that was self-defense.
Here's the problem.
You
Here's
walk
the
up to the car
problem.
and pull your gun and point at the window?
You conflate
Over a
Tamir
traffic
Rice,
violation?
Tamir Rice and Philando Castile, two innocent men killed by officers. You conflate them
I
with
can
the
name more than
Michael
that.
Browns and the Dexter Reeds of
I
the
can-
world.
I can name
and
more than
you're
that.
the problem. You need to have
I
an
can
honest.
name more than that.
I'm sure you can. But you can't name all the people like Dexter Reed that had brought it on them, that are out there trying to gun down cops and kill people, and that are making
that
black
was a
communities
traffic
in
stop.
America
He wasn't
a
committing
goddamn
crimes.
hellhole.
He wasn't committing crimes.
But, hey,
no, white
he
folks
pulled
made
the
the
damn
ghetto a
trigger.
hellhole.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And put black people in it.
Whitey
White
bad.
folks made the
Whitey
ghetto a
did it all.
hellhole and put us
Whitey,
in it.
you're
and
not
then put your damn slave
you are not
catching
responsible
cops
for
in
your
the black
behavior.
community.
Dexter Reed
Well,
isn't
take them
responsible.
racist slave catchers
Let's
to your
just call
neighborhood.
everybody
Take
a
them to the white
racist.
neighborhood.
This has got a great American franchise, Chick-Fil-A. It is. It's a great franchise. The owner is a great man who's a member of one of my clubs, and he's fantastic. And yeah, they do very well. They're closed on Sunday. The Lord's Chicken. That's the Lord's Chicken. You're right. It's good chicken too. Look at the way you hold. You like each other, right? I think that's very nice. Have a good time. Nice to see you. Thank you very much. So we'll order 30 milkshakes. We'll give them out to the people, and we'll take some for ourselves. Okay? Good. Thank you very much, everybody. Hello. This has got a great American franchise, Chick-Fil-A. It is. It's a great franchise. The owner is a great man who's a member of one of my clubs, and he's.
In this round, here's Quanell X.
Well, Charles, former President Trump went to Chick-fil-A and in Black Atlanta, on a fundraising stop. And when he went into Chick-fil-A, it was not shown on that video, but he was received very warmly by a lot of black employees there and black people who were also there purchasing food, who were later brought in while he was purchasing his food, because they first stopped everybody. And many were shocked and surprised that one black woman walked up to him and said, "We don't believe all those lies they saying about you in the media. We support you, we got your back. It was better when you was president." This is what she said. And then other black folk came in from outside and was patting Donald Trump on the back, shaking his hand. That frightens many Democrats in this country, especially Democrat political figures and leaders, because the present young generation of young African Americans, they're not buying into the hype or the lie that our allegiance must solely be to the Democratic Party. Because of social media, they're now being able to see unfiltered and have unfiltered access to politicians, their agendas, who and what they are. And last thing I want to say, a lot of black men, because this numbers is rising among black men, shockingly to many, but a lot of black men see Trump condemning the FBI, condemning the courts, condemning the prosecutor's office, condemning judges. A lot of black men who have been abused and taken advantage of by the criminal justice system, unjust racist judges, prosecutors, and also you look at some of these judicials in the FBI who have done things to black people who are prominent in the hip hop industry and civil rights leaders. Black folk can relate to what Donald Trump is going through. That's why I believe many people are receiving him warmly and not buying what they're saying on mainstream media anymore.
And there's absolutely no doubt, Quanell, that the criminal justice system has been unfairly weaponized to try to destroy Trump's candidacy. There is absolutely no doubt that Russiagate was fabricated, that the intelligence community surrounded Joe Biden and worked with Silicon Valley and mainstream media to shut down discussions about Ashley Biden's diary, that indicates her dad's a pervert, and about Hunter Biden's laptop. I agree with all of this. I disagree that it is going to translate to widespread support for Donald Trump. There's no doubt, right? I'm not a Trump guy. You are. There is no
That's a
doubt.
lie. Stop telling that
you're
lie.
lying to the cameras, right?
Stop telling
you're
that lie.
you got a MAGA hat. You are a Trump. And I
bet you wish
respect
I
it.
did have
And I
one.
respect it.
Well, you
right?
respect the truth
You do
and not a
whatever you
lie.
want. But at the end of the day, Joe Biden will still have an overwhelming amount of support from Black America because of the lies being fed in the mainstream media.
Okay.
That coupled with the expansion of the wiping of student loan debt, they're just buying votes at this point.
Charles,
but clearly the economy was better for Black.
last election. How many
it
points
was a
was
very
it
narrow loss.
How narrow? Can you about 1.5 points?
I thought it was 3, but it was a
They were
bit.
saying like 1.5,
Right.
2 points.
Okay.
Now guess what? Look at the percentage of the Black vote that went to Biden last time. Okay.
Okay.
And look at the percentage.
Almost all of it.
And look at the percentage that they'll say is probably going to go to Donald Trump this time. They're thinking high as 33 to 34%. He doesn't need widespread support in the Black community. If he gets just 25% of the Black vote, he'll beat Joe Biden.
Yeah, I think it's almost impossible that he beats Joe Biden because NPR, National
at the
Public
last
Radio,
election,
Yuri
Charles.
Berliner,
He only
one
lost
of
by
their
by
anchors
2
came
points.
out and
2
admitted
points.
last week, we jobbed it. We were lying. We're not journalists. NPR is public radio. They actually admitted that they tanked their laptop story, that they didn't do any press after Russiagate turned out to be a fraud. They had Schiff on like 52 times.
So how
and
can we condemn
and
Russia?
that's why they're gonna win.
So how can we condemn Russia?
Well, we can condemn Russia for invading other
but
countries.
Wait a minute.
But
we have done the same
oh
thing.
no, there's no
We're
doubt
accusing Russia.
that they refused to renew FISA last week
This young woman who just went to jail.
they spied on the
This-
Obama administration was worse than the Nixon
This is
administration.
true.
It was Watergate.
But this is true.
But it's
But
still
this
not
young
going to
woman
help.
who
Trump's
just went to
done.
jail for 30
Trump's
days
going to die in prison
for getting
because that's the America we
to
live in
Biden's
now.
daughter's diary, okay?
A month in prison.
That's
For
how
getting
some Putin would do.
getting that- oh,
That's
yeah,
how
no.
some Putin
Hey,
would
I
do.
don't disagree.
So
Well,
how
we should
can
all
we
be
condemn
more
other
scared.
countries when we're doing the same
Well, we
damn
can
thing?
do both, right? You can
No,
say,
we're hypocrites.
You
That's
can
what
say,
we are.
hey, this is awful, but this is awful too. And the thing is, we have the freedom in America,
Charles,
largely.
in
But
the
now the
last-
FBI is keeping tabs, but
in
they're
the
all
last
selling
4
the nonsense
years-
you sell.
in the
that
last 4
white
years,
men are the
Charles,
greatest threat to American
in the last
safety.
4 years, have you ever seen corruption like this?
Have you ever seen, look,
In the last 4 years.
when
In
conservative
the courts,
Americans,
FBI, Department of Justice,
but here's the thing.
federal
You're
courts,
an advocate
district
for
courts.
this. When
No, I'm not.
oh, let
I've
me finish.
always condemned
Let me
these courts.
finish. When conservative Americans are being targeted and outside their punishments are they're tracking down everyone that was even present for January 6th. While protests where they burned down entire cities and looted, they're like, oh, it happens. It was mostly peaceful, right? And that is because of the new bigotry in America that no one's going to talk about. If you talk about the new bigotry against white conservatives in America, you're
That's
told,
not why
oh,
they
you're a
prosecuted
xenophobic
January 6th.
racism. Shut up.
They
That is why
prosecuted
they're trying to
January
shut
6th
down the Republican
to
Party
instill
by bringing
fear,
the whole third
to
world into
instill
this country.
fear
They're trying to
into people,
import
not to
votes,
come against the
and they're
machine.
trying to create. And I'm not even a fan of the GOP. I think the GOP exists to use religion as a cudgel to facilitate the polarization of
Use
wealth.
religion?
It's the
The Republicans are not religious.
They're Christo-fascist. It's
The
false.
Republicans don't really
but
love
the truth
Jesus.
is, the Democrats right now are evil.
The
It's
Democrats
an
don't
evil
even want to
system.
talk about Jesus.
And Trump ain't going to win
The
no matter
Democrats
what.
don't even want to know Jesus' name anymore.
You know, I hate to bluster so much, but we do get worked up on this show. When we were talking about O.J. Simpson and we were talking about Dexter Reed, at the end of the Dexter Reed segment, Quanell said white neighborhoods and looked at me as if I live in a white neighborhood. I live in one of the most diverse communities in this city, in the most diverse city in America, about 1.5 miles from the station. Quanell lives in a white neighborhood half an hour from now out in the suburbs, right? We can't reduce everything to racial tropes and bigotries and biases, right? Dexter Reed got killed because he shot at the police. He hit a police officer. You saw the police officer running. And we're not going to fix the crime problem if we mischaracterize it every time based on just demographics or skin color. I don't care what a bad guy is. I don't care if he's white, Asian, whatever. But Tamir Rice and Philando Castile were two black men who were murdered by the police, right? And there was no accountability, and it's disgusting. But on the flip side, taking these 5 officers who are out there trying to keep Chicago safe, and the mayor's office of police academy said, we're going to take their badges and their guns, when they were shot at, is equally disgusting. We need to treat criminals, when there is evidence of a crime, like criminals, no matter what their skin color is, period. And when the police do something bad, there needs to be accountability, and that's why you need cameras, period.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just had a number of Mississippi cops who were called the Goon Squad, just sentenced to long times in prison. If you research the history of Chicago and police corruption, they had a similar Goon Squad in Chicago that was taking young African-American men off the street, and they were torturing them in rooms where they were being questioned and forcing them to sign fake confessions. That's in Chicago. That's the reality that black folk have lived under in Chicago. You don't have to pull somebody over for a seatbelt violation and decide to walk up to the car with your gun in your hand because the window's not coming down too fast enough. That's wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Come to the cause of young black men and black people the same way you approach the cause of white folks. And I guarantee you, I think we'd have a different outcome. Now, when it comes to O.J. Simpson, if it don't fit, you must acquit. He was found not guilty by a jury of his peers. And brothers and sisters, do you remember that day? It was so much joy.
That's it for the Face-Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.